Spin it to some other teams now. We're going to play a little game of NBA right or wrong. Tim, I say it is now or never for Joel Embiid to win a title. Am I right or wrong?
I'm going to say wrong-ish because I think we've got a short-term window for the Sixers, I almost said the Lakers, of 2 or 3 years where you could, at max 3 years, say this team could really be a championship contending team. I think it's realistically 2. They've got this year and then next year when they could add to this roster a little bit more than what they've got now. But I would say wrong-ish because I don't think it's a 1-year window like some have said it is.
Understood. I was going to say wrong-ish was not one of the options, but I understand your point. Alan, the Spurs are a playoff team with Chris Paul and Victor Wembanyama. Right or wrong?
Wrong. No ish. Just wrong, right?
That's
because
right.
This is still a young roster. And Chris Paul, it's a good addition for now because you need to get some adults in the room and veteran leadership. That's important as well. But, I mean, is Chris Paul going to play 35, 40 minutes a night? Like, that's not who he is anymore. He's there, obviously, for guidance. But as far as leading them to a playoff spot, no, I expect he'll be on another team by the end of the season.
Bobby Marks, the last one is for you. If I say Steph Curry and the Warriors will miss the playoffs, right or wrong?
Oh, I'm going to say right. I look at where the Western Conference is. Certainly, I think Houston's got better. I think we forget about Memphis where they were a year ago. I mean, playoffs playing, maybe they make it the end of the plan where they were a year ago here, but I think they're going to miss the playoffs next season.
All right. Tim, what do you think?
I will disagree with my guy Bobby, who is very bright and knows what's going on. But I do think that the Warriors have done a decent job this summer. I know obviously there's a lot of focus on Klay Thompson. I understand that. However, I do think if DeAnthony Melton's back is right, I think he's a better fit for Golden State. He's a 40% three-point shooter that can guard point guards and shooting guards. That's what they didn't have last year. I like the Kyle Anderson pickup. They could potentially make some more moves. They have some flexibility. We just talked about the Lakers having no flexibility. The Warriors have draft picks. They have expiring contracts. They have the ability to go add pieces of this team still. I think they're going to get better. And when Draymond Green was on the court last year, the Warriors were 33-22. When they have him and Steph Curry out there, they're still a really good team. And I think they're going to find a way to get in the playoffs.
All right, they have made a lot of adds, but obviously the big story is who they lost. Longtime Splash brother Klay Thompson. And Steph Curry did take to Instagram on Tuesday to look back at his time with Klay Thompson. And he wrote, "Gonna miss you, Klay. Even though we won't finish the journey together, what we did will never be done again. Couldn't have imagined a better run with you and Draymond. Changed the whole Bay Area. Changed the way the game is played. Killer Klay at the center of it all. Thank you for everything, bro. Go enjoy playing basketball and doing what you do. Splash Bros for life, my bro." Bobby, did the Warriors handle the Klay situation correctly in your view?
Dan, I'm going to put my GM hat on here, and I'm going to say yes. And breakups stink, especially when it's a team that's won a lot of championships, and he is an icon in the Bay Area here. But I look at this Golden State team in a better shape they are right now than if they had re-signed Klay Thompson, just based on the flexibility. We saw at the Anthony Melton they signed, Kyle Anderson they got in a sign-and trade. Those moves do not happen if they sign Klay Thompson for a $30 million contract here. So I get it. I understand. I think they did him right, certainly by sending him to Dallas. They did not have to cooperate in that signing trade here. But I do think that the Golden State Warriors are in a better position right now than they were a few days ago.
We saw what Steph Curry had to say about the situation, and as is the case whenever anything happens in the world, Draymond Green also had something to say on his podcast.
Of course he did.
About his disappointment with Klay not being there anymore. Here's what Draymond had to say.
A little salty about that because, as you all know, Paul George was going to come to the Warriors, and we wanted Paul George to come to the Warriors. And we always talk about these organizations, what they do for their players and whatnot. These organizations don't always be willing to play ball, and I don't think the Clippers were really willing to play ball for Paul George to get to the Warriors. I kind of understand it, I suppose. You don't want him in the same division as you because you may know how that looks if he comes with us.
Alan?
You used a phrase yesterday that I'd like to use here when you talked about Aaron Rodgers.
Uh-oh.
What Draymond Green's really good at is putting another log on the BS bonfire.
Oh.
He's really good at that, right? Wouldn't you say? You used it with Aaron Rodgers. This is your phrase. Does it fit here? You tell me, does it fit here?
I've spent a little more time parsing Aaron than Draymond, but yes, it does seem that way to me. Yes.
I mean, you know, so we're just supposed to take your flotsam and jetsam and give you a player that's going to help you, but what's it going to? It's not going to help us in any way. We're going to take your problem, make it our problem, and give you a player that's going to make you better. It doesn't always work that way. So, but again, not everybody should have a podcast, but it seems like everybody does. Draymond does. And it creates content, so I leave the floor to Bobby and Tim now.
Bobby, your reaction to what Draymond had to say?
Oh, man. Well, here's where my take on this, and I'll give you the PG version. What did Paul George ever do for the Clippers to make him reward him to send him to Golden State? Paul George was there for 5 years, and it's the most disappointing teams that we've seen in the 4 or 5 years, him and Kawhi Leonard, the inability to stay on the court. If Paul George was on the Clippers for 15 years and had won multiple championships like Klay Thompson has, yes, I would understand the Clippers to send him to the team he maybe wants to play with. And when I look at it big picture, why is it up to the Clippers to take back some of the contracts they don't want from Golden State? Why would you want Chris Paul? Why would you want Kevon Looney? Why would you want Gary Payton? That's what was likely coming back to you. So you would have just been better off signing Paul George outright because you would have been in a bad position financially if you had done that sign and trade. So there's no obligation from the Clippers to do Paul George right here.
Yeah, it's interesting because we're talking about the Lakers not being able to get the guys they want. We're talking about the Warriors maybe not being able to get a guy they want. Sounds to me like similar situations, but Tim, you say there's a key difference.
Yeah, the key difference is that the Warriors both have more flexibility and are a little better than the Lakers. Like, that's really where we're at, right? Like, the Warriors are a team that I think has a chance to be a top 6 team in the West if things break, right? They do have flexibility to use draft picks to go add to this roster with expiring contracts. They have Kevon Looney and Gary Payton on expiring deals. They have young players they can trade. They have draft picks they can trade. The Lakers don't really have much of any of those things. And now, with LeBron signing a max, they're over the second apron and they can't really have any flexibility to do anything. So the Warriors are not a championship level team, but they have upward mobility to be a good playoff team in the West.
Do you agree on the Warriors?
I think they're fine. Yeah, I mean, look at their finances. Their books are clean. I mean, they have the ability to trade 4 first-round picks. We saw them make the Kyle Anderson sign and trade. That's a reason why, because they did the Klay Thompson trade. And they're not done yet here. I think they have the flexibility to keep on getting better. Do I still think they're not a playoff team? I agree. I'm going to stay with it. I know me and Mr. Bontemps have probably a nice friendly wager on that, and I'll stick to it here. But I do like where the Warriors are compared to where the Lakers are because I think there's a clearer runway on how they can get better.
LeBron James has now agreed to a 2-year, $104 million max deal with the Lakers. Sources told Woj the deal includes a player option for the 2025-26 season and a no-trade clause. So with that news, here's a look at the Lakers' potential roster for this coming season. Starting 5 appears it will remain the same as last season with LeBron, AD, D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reeves, and Rui Hachimura all back. That group went 18-6 when they started together last season. So I'm back here with my NBA guys. Bobby Marks, let's start with you. Your reaction to LeBron's new deal.
Yeah, not surprised at all, Dan. I think the big question is whether it's going to be 2 years or 3 years. You did 2 years, got a player option for next year. Can become a free agent again. I think we've talked about LeBron taking the discount for a player like Klay Thompson. Certainly he elected to take the full amount, and rightfully so. I think it's just interesting where it leaves them financially moving forward. They are right at the second apron, which is at $190 million. Woj reported that there's still discussions between Rich Paul and LeBron and the Lakers about maybe taking $1 million less to give them a little bit more flexibility here. But they're going to have to be awfully creative on how they add to this roster outside of their own core group based on the restrictions that they have now.
That $1 million, though, does really make a difference. I know fans probably hear that and say, what's $1 million? But because they are basically right at the second apron, if you take $1 million off his salary, all of a sudden you could put multiple players together to make trades. You could then do that with draft picks and maybe go get an impact player or two during the season. So that is an interesting thing that Adrian has reported, and it could potentially impact the Lakers' ability to add to this roster, which as of now is not good enough to make much of an impact in the West.
But at 40 years old, this franchise still revolves around LeBron James. As much as he has talked about passing the torch and Anthony Davis becoming that piece, as much as they've talked about finding another star to come in and take some of the pressure and some of the load off LeBron James, we all know it still orbits around this man. And he's still a highly productive player, 25, 7, and 8, 50% shooting, 40 from 3. Like, for his age, it's remarkable what he's still doing at this point in his career. But what he used to be able to do is carry a roster like this and still be a championship contender. The question is, can he continue to do it at the age of 40? Played over 70 games for the first time in 6 years this past season. So it's a lot still rides on the shoulders of LeBron James.
Jenkins, my pistol's out now. Make sure y'all go run that up. You heard it live from your boy Bobby Shmurda. Get out.
Chase gang.
This one for all my gangster niggas. This one right here is for all the people that really been through something. Them streets.
Yeah, they got it, but
where would I be without my pistol? You live by it, you die by it, that shit true. Lost a couple homies, some real shit I got hit too. Gotta watch your back, you get killed, niggas are spin through. Where would I be without my pistol? You live by it, you die by it, that shit true. Lost a couple homies, some real shit I got hit too. Gotta watch your back, you get killed, niggas are spin through. Where would I be without my? Where would I be without my pistol? Where would I be without my pistol? My pistol. Where would I be without my? Them niggas caught me lacking, had that thing right by my side. Already one in the head, nigga, this shit do or die. You fuck around and lose your life, you come and playing with mine. I told them boys this shit get hot when you playing with fire. Boy better not jump up on that block if he ain't ready to ride. Goofy musta thought it was cool, we just trying to survive. That musta went over his head, same way bullets gon' fly. You know that shit ain't got no name once they open they glide. Need to stop shooting from that corner, nigga, run down my side. Niggas saying they doing drills, taking innocent lives. Niggas shooting for clout, they never really hitting them guys. I keep it on me all the time, but would I be without my? You live by it, you die by it, that shit true. Lost a couple homies, some real shit I got hit too. Gotta watch your back, you get killed, niggas are spin through. Where would I be without my pistol? You live by it, you die by it, that shit true. Lost a couple homies, some real shit I got hit too. Gotta watch your back, you get killed, niggas are spin through. Where would I be without my? Where would I be without my pistol? Where would I be without my? Where would I be without my?
where would I be without my Glocky? She a thotty, she be all over my body. Can I love you or you are for everybody? If I leave, she coming right beside me. Like, was only one by my side. Not go on me play, nigga, you gon' die. The house broken up, niggas, they been fried. Like, free skim, he got locked on my side. Like, so I'm trapping on my lonely. And I'm swerving in the foreign by my dolly. And these niggas outside not really my homies. Free gang, free broke, free the homies. Like, why they talking like they on that, but these niggas ain't on shit. All my niggas sliding and my niggas talking blicks. Daddy on my side and she really with the shit. Talking real crazy, she gon' push a nigga away. So I'm trapping on my lonely.